Kawasaki have had to recall over 3,000 of their motorcycles. Let's get into this one. Now, over the last few weeks, in much of the industry press around the globe, Kawasaki have been coming under a bit of closer scrutiny because they've had to recall over 3,000 of their motorcycles. And this has been a long-running issue with Kawasaki, as they've had to investigate reports from outlets and from distributors that some of their motorcycles have been suffering with abnormal noise. And this started in November 2020, and it kept on going on. I had repeated reports of this. Now, in March and June of 2021, more reports were given to Kawasaki by the Japanese distributor of more abnormal noise, and they couldn't quite work out what was going on. Now, in September 2021, more departments got involved, quality assurance and research, and basically this snowball just got bigger and bigger. Now, back in 2020, Kawasaki, after initial investigation, identified that it was a locked camshaft chain tensioner. So this is where the story gets a little bit confusing, because the camshaft chain tensioner is manufactured by a company called KML. And that's Kawasaki Motors Limited. So if you can imagine Kawasaki as a huge umbrella of different companies, you've got one company of Kawasaki producing a part for another company of Kawasaki, and one KML are refusing to accept any liability. They're saying, no, it's absolutely fine, there's nothing wrong with this chain tensioner, whilst others are saying, well, actually there is. So between different organizations within the Kawasaki empire, some were saying yes, there is a problem, others were saying no, there isn't a problem. And this rolled and rolled on through 2021 into 2022. Now, it's reported that from February and September of 2022, Kawasaki Motors with another company tried to replicate what was happening with this engine and how some engines had suddenly locked up. KML, who produced the part, they said, no, there's nothing wrong with this part at all. It's not got nothing to do with us, Your Honor. So between Kawasaki Motors and other research companies, and also the Kawasaki company producing the part, they can't seem to find what is wrong with this cam chain tensioner, or this camshaft chain tensioner. They can't seem to fully identify and positively say to you or I or any other Kawasaki owner out there, hey, listen, this is a part, we're going to change it. However, what they've done, they've said, you know what, we're not sure, but we're going to change it anyway. So what Kawasaki have said is that we're going to recall over 3,000 motorcycles here, and it's production between 2015 and 2023, let's say, but 2022 is the official manufacturing date. And all owners of these motorcycles were going to be notified at the beginning of December of 2022. Now, it's going to take some months into 2023 whilst all these bikes have all the work done to them. Now, some of the owners who've already spent their own money to replace these camshaft chain tensioners, Kawasaki have said that they will reimburse them fully or in part. Now, a report here I'm reading here saying it's the suspect camshaft chain tensioner part number is 12048-0119. Now, the motorcycles affected here, and I'm going to read a list from Consumer Affairs here directly to you. So it's a model year 2015-2018, and that's the XZ1000S, the 2018 ZX1002A, and the ZX1002B, the 2019 to 2021 ZX1002D, the 2019 to 2022 ZX1002J, the 2020 to the 2023 the ZR1000K, 2021 to 2022 ZR1000L, 2022 ZX1002R, 2023 ZR1002L, and this includes the Ninja H2, the Ninja H2 Carbons, Ninja H2 SX, Ninja H2 SX SE, ZH2s, and the ZH2 SEs. So if you've got these Kawasaki's from the list that I've read out there, then basically we just need to go to your Kawasaki dealership and say, hey, change this camshaft chain tensioner for me. I'm sure you would have been notified by now. But I find this a really interesting story, that there are different divisions from within Kawasaki themselves, and nobody's really accepting the blame. And one division is basically saying, no, there's nothing wrong with us, whilst another division is actually trying to find what is the problem. So there's a bit of internal fighting within the wider Kawasaki corporation. I don't think this actually gives a lot of owners a lot of confidence here in the Kawasaki machine, let's say, but maybe Kawasaki Motors themselves have done the right thing here and said, look, we don't know exactly what the real problem is, but we're going to change it anyway. So listen, Kawasaki just doing a big recall at the end of 2022. Obviously, it's going to filter now into 2023 as all this work is done. Now, this recall relates to the US market, and it's Kawasaki Motors USA who have issued the recall as well. So if you live in other markets, let's say for Europe, and you're unsure about your motorcycle, go to your local dealership and ask them as well if they've heard anything and if it applies to your motorcycle as well. And indeed, if you're getting some strange noises from your bike, pop along to your dealership and say, hey, there has been a recall in the United States. Do our bikes have the same issue, and can they be fixed in the same way? Right, on to the next video, and I'll catch you again. Ta-da!